Never murder your wife in game, even with her encouragement. So this is a story where I'm probably the villain, although at the time I felt I was trying to do the right thing. 3.5 Darkson using the fan-made hack. Dramatis personae. Clerigvert, a long-time player and friend, playing a Codezilla. For those unfamiliar, it's a self-buffing divine caster that is essentially absurdly overpowered. I didn't quite realize how badly at the time. Cyan, Clerigvert's wife, not much of a factor in this story. Bard wife, my wife, playing a bard, which in Dark Sun is really bad because they don't get magic and get poison use instead. Her character was married to Clerigvert in the game. Potentially creepy and complicated in other horror stories. It's a complicating factor to this one, but not in the relations approving kind. Sorry. DM. Me. Since it was a 3-person party, I ran a GMK, which is to say a meat shield with a pile of hit points who stood in the way of the monsters, while the players did heroic things. At the time he was the second iteration. The first got eaten by monsters, much to the chagrin of the other players. At some point past level 10 or 11, Clerigvert had gone through some stuff with his character backstory. He was married to Bard wife, but in his backstory revealed that he had married another woman when he was younger, but abandoned her to die. He has since been seeking redemption. Well, I had his first wife, henceforth evil wife, come back as some twisted multiclass sick knife thing with lots of resistances and hit points to prevent his Codezillaness from one-shotting her, something I had to do a lot. During the fight with her, evil wife had focused her attacks on Bard wife because jealousy, and did lots of damage. In true Codezilla fashion, he spent all his actions on self-buffing and attack rather than defending or healing his wife. Near the end I pulled a punch that would have disintegrated Bard wife and merely knocked her to like 8 or something. Since I didn't think it would be fair to her, I flip-flop over whether or not I should have pulled that punch. But ultimately it would prove the trigger in this story. Later that week I was talking to my wife. You often talk about behind the screen things to each other as we both DM for each other in various campaigns, and I mentioned that I had to pull the punch. She complained about Clerigvert's Codezillaing, wishing he'd at least thrown her a heal at some point, and also that she was tired of her character because everyone else's power levels were outpacing her. We hatched a plan to introduce a new character for her, and to sort of retroactively unpull the punch I would start a fight in the town the characters were in, and have evil wife who had escaped come back and finish the job, killing off Bard wife, and Bard wife would swap to a different character, can't even remember what it was, and help out in the fight and justify joining the party. Well, the day came and it seemed to go off without a hitch. Evil wife laid a siege. Fighter had to go fight a giant bug monster, while evil wife and a couple of flying minions came over the wall from behind to attack Clerigvert, Cyan, and Bard wife. As before, evil wife for cuss fired Bard wife. As before, Clerigvert did fuck all to defend his wife and focused on DPS. Cyan was busy with the minions. To finish off Bard wife, I had evil wife's new consort who had all kinds of awful Book of Vile Darkness and that of Undead book templates stacked on him, do a life drain attack on her with something that basically stole her soul so that Clerigvert could not revive her without getting it back. Bard wife's new character came in to save the day. Bug monster died, Cyan killed the minions, and evil wife plus consort escaped to the sound of evil laughter. It's all good, right? Well, Clerigvert did not take too kindly to his wife getting killed, even though he did fuck all twice to protect her. My wife indicated that it was okay. She wanted to play a new character and this was an interesting development. We had planned it out beforehand, but Clerigvert wasn't having it. He took the death of my wife's character as a personal slight, complained it was railroading, arguably true, and said he didn't want to play that campaign again. So it ended. So, the moral of this story is, if your wife ever asks you to kill her character, don't. I shapeshift into SpongeBob. Okay, first some context. The story takes place in a public D&D 5e game. It's not AL14/tweens. It happened like a year and a half ago, so I can't remember all the details. Just found this sub and instantly thought of this story. The important characters are as follows. Redhead, playing a chaotic stupid paladin who meta games at every opportunity. Bored, the main character. He was from some Middle Eastern country, not sure which, and had only ever played 4e. Veteran, The DM. The only other person I remember was me, the furblog fighter. So our story starts out when Board walks in early. I'm there too, and I help him roll up a character. He says wants to play his 4E doppelganger monk. By now veteran has arrived, so we ask him, and he says okay to it. So everyone arrives and we start. We are given a quest by a retired adventurer to take out some local bandits. He gives us a map and sends us on our way. Everything is going fine until he stumbles across a dead elf pinned to a tree via arrows. Somebody rolls perception, sees the elf has a gold pouch. The race is on. Redhead and Board both immediately climbing up the tree, trying to reach the precious 5 or so gold. This goes in for a good 10 minuets before Redhead wins and gets the 3 gold. Fast forward and we've been double crossed by the retired adventurer and put in a FFA style prison. After about 5 minuets in the prison, Board gets bored and decides to start using his doppelganger powers to shapeshift into random things. These include but are not limited to SpongeBob, Patrick Star, and a giant nose. Eventually we try to escape and end up in a fight with all our gear. It's now we learn that Board has 2 magic items that do like 5d6 damage each and all his 4E abilities. So he starts one-hitting everything all while in the form. If a giant nose and the fight's soon over, we end the session there. Board doesn't come back and we all have a very long and confusing adventure. Sorry for wonky editing, I'm on mobile. A Tale of Two Dragons. So I playing in a modified version of Horde of the Dragon Queen. I was playing a bard and I messed up a deception roll at some cultists. The DM let slip that because of that there was probably going to be a TPK. I was like seriously? But I didn't think he would go through with it. Next session, we got attacked by a dragon. The cultists had summoned a blue dragon. Oh shit. Then we used every item and spell we had, and by the skin of our teeth, we were about to beat that dragon. What a great moment, right? Wold been the high point of the entire campaign. Then that dragon summoned a second dragon. An ancient black dragon showed up, killed the first dragon, and then attacked us. At this point, I'm getting mad. Like I get the one dragon, but now this isn't fun anymore. Like we just get killed. We were out of spells and low on health. And in the middle of a wide open space, the DM starts laughing at us and denying any possible ways out. We died and we all quit the game.